Macca's guides.
Hey guys, Macca here with yet another Resident Evil 2 video guide. This is for the achievement or trophy called In the Blink of an Eye for defeating the Super Tyrant with 5 or more minutes left until the detonation. Now make sure you drop a like if this video ends up being useful. Now the opportunity to grab this will happen right at the end of Leon's campaign, where you're escaping the facility and you'll be given a 10-minute countdown timer. You have to make sure that you complete this section with at least 5 minutes left on the clock. I'm going to show you my run where I had over 6 minutes left on the clock. A couple of quick notes here is that I will be mainly relying on my Lightning Hawk as well as my Flamethrower. Right before this section, you'll actually have a small kind of boss battle. Well, it's actually a pretty big one against G, and he will be pretty hard to beat, and you'll probably use a lot of your resources against him. However, when possible, I would try to recommend just using your normal pistol, and that might draw out the fight longer, but you'll be more prepared for this final fight. You do want to have as much ammo with you as possible, especially for the high damage weapons, and things like flash grenades and frag grenades are actually really helpful in this fight, so you'll want to grab them when possible. Now you'll ride the elevator down, and that's going to already eat up a full 1 minute of your clock. You can skip the cutscene, although it doesn't matter in terms of the time. And then you'll want to go to the typewriter and make a save. If at any point you do screw up from here on out, feel free to load this save and you'll be given another chance. There's also an item box available if there's anything you want to grab out of there, any last minute herbs or gunpowder you want to grab in order to craft some ammo. Now once you make your way down this little elevator, I'm going to be using my flamethrower against the root enemies, using about 20 to 30 ammo per enemy. That's usually enough to kind of take them out. And I'm going to just do that so that they don't grab onto me and waste my time, as they can be a little bit pesky in terms of getting around them. And when they grab you, they mostly just kind of waste your time. As you come out the door, make sure you grab the herb in front of you on the ground, just in case if you're going to need it for later. And then we can come down the ladder. Now, as soon as you come down the ladder, the tyrant will jump in front of you. And what I would recommend you do is just back away from him, let him follow you. And then once he kind of gets past the little railing directly in front of us, we should be able to just kind of run around behind him and get through the door behind him. You want to have a roughly 7 minutes and 40 seconds at least on your clock at this point. If for whatever reason you have less than that, you've probably made a pretty major mistake, and I would recommend just kind of going back to your save point. Just continue along the hallways, follow the hallways, and you'll get a cutscene, which we can skip if we want. And then we can further follow the hallways. Right here, I would recommend picking up the pistol ammo, the herb, and you'll need at least 2 inventory slots for the joint plug. Once you have the joint plug, go on to the elevator and put the joint plug in. The time you spend in your inventory does not count towards the timer, so feel free to take your time if you need it with your inventory. Now, as soon as you put the joint plug in, it'll start another cutscene, which we'll skip. We're also going to craft our little herbs. And at this point, we're going to start the boss battle with around 7.5 minutes left. I'm going to be able to finish it in about a minute and a half, but you have about 2.5 minutes if you're looking to grab the achievement. I start off personally by throwing 3 frag grenades, and then I try to use a little bit of my flash grenades to buy myself some time. Now, the weak point of this boss is his chest. You'll see his kind of heart beating out of his chest, and that's what we're aiming for. Don't aim for his head, even though that might be your natural inclination. As you can see, I try to do a lot of quick damage as early as possible with those frag grenades, then those lightning hawks, and now I'm just going to pretty much set him on fire. Now, obviously, Leon can't dodge, so you really do want to keep your distance here and make sure you're kind of sprinting around in circles, making sure to keep as much distance as possible. The reason I kind of like the flamethrower, even though it doesn't do a lot of damage, is because the longer you hold down the trigger, the hotter the flame gets and the more damage it does. And when the enemy is on fire, it actually damages him over time, meaning that you can do damage to him while you're running away from him. So the flamethrower, although it does take a while to get the kill on him, it can be quite helpful in the right scenario. But I'm going to switch primarily here to my Lightning Hawk, as it's a very high damage weapon, and I'm just going to basically unload onto him when possible. If you have shotgun ammo, it might be helpful too here. So eventually you'll bring him down, which will trigger a cinematic, which we can skip. At the end of this cinematic, a rocket launcher will kind of drop directly in front of you. So just run forward and pick it up, then equip it, and then shoot him once in the middle of his chest to end the boss fight, making sure you have at least 5 minutes left on that countdown timer, and the achievement or trophy should unlock at this point. If it didn't because you took too long, just feel free to load your save and try again. Thank you for watching. I hope the video was helpful. Special thanks to the amazing people on Patreon for supporting the show. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.